Listen to me. You know what I'm saying? I want to talk to y'all real quick. We about to talk about some stock real quick. You know what I mean? This is what I want to talk about, and I kind of been leading up to this because I feel like this is an important thing. You know, in urban communities, you know, you get into a situation where not too many people may be familiar with how the process goes, and then you get a situation where not too many people may be familiar on what particular stocks to pick. You always get, you know, people telling you to do like blue chip companies or blue chip stocks, you know, like Microsoft and things like that, or even people may say like, you know, get Apple, those are like safe investments. You're going to get dividends, which is basically like, you know, like per share, like give you like a small amount, like for investing in a company, like each quarter, you could choose to, if you have enough dividends, by having multiple shares to reinvest the dividends back into the company and buy more stock, or, you know, do whatever you want to do with it. You know what I mean? So some people, they kind of look at that as like a safe bet, you know, so, but my experience with, you know, trading stocks, a lot of times, like what I would do, you know, this is to help me pay for school. This is to help me, you know, kind of save up to get a house and like all these different things. Like what I would do is do short selling. This is back when you had the company Solar City. It was like a highly volatile stock to where it'd be down like one day and then it'd be up one day and it'd be down. So you just basically it's like the fundamentals, like you buy low and you sell when it's high, you know, and you got into a situation where Tesla and bought out Solar City. Tesla started to explode, you know what I mean? So I went ahead and I bought in a Tesla. I got in at like $74 a share, and it shot up to around like 180, pulled out, you know what I mean? Like that stock, it dropped back down, just continued to do the same thing. And that's how I was able to afford to pretty much travel and go to different places. And like, you know, even when I was talking about like battle rap, you know, I just went to like, you know, I think it was like Traffic. It was like Disaster versus Rock. It was an event. I went there and I like lived it up. Like I was in California for a while. I had like a Corvette, like had all that. And people like, yo, like, how are you doing all this? Like just blogging, you know what I mean? And a lot of it was like trading stocks and doing things like that. So, you know, this is for people who I wouldn't say, you know, don't want to get into long-term investment. You know what I mean? You can do short-term investment, but there's a reason as to why I got out of it. You know, because short-term investment, when you do that and you in and out of stocks, like before the year is up, you get hit with a higher like capital gains tax versus you letting the money like sit there throughout the year. You know, when the year is up, you get hit with like a less tax. So that's if you pull it out. So you don't have to worry about the complications of, yeah, you made money, but you got like a ton of money that you got to pay back in taxes. You know, so it's all about what you want to do. It's like what your threshold is. If you're going to, you know, you're in it for the short term, if you're in it for the long term. But the stock I'm going to be talking about right now is Tesla. You know, I will say this for the SEC. I'm not, like, don't listen to me. This is just my opinion, but I'm going to tell you, like, how I'm moving, like, within the next 3 years. Now, you got a company called Tesla. Elon Musk, this is a guy that created PayPal. He created SpaceX, Neuralink. Neuralink is now, like, in the medical like field. So basically what they're doing is like creating like these microfibers to help like doctors and things like that do surgeries without having to like, you know, open like your brain up and things like that, open your skull up to do like some of these surgeries. A lot of it is becoming like non-invasive because of Neuralink's ability to be able to do that. And Elon Musk is behind a lot of this. SpaceX now, like, you know, NASA uses their rockets. They've got better technology, you know, in their rockets to where, you know, like they're reusable. So they launch, you know, whatever aircraft or spacecraft up into space, and they come back down and they land and they're able to be reused. So, you know, Elon Musk, I would say he's like the modern day Iron Man of like our generation. Like he's worth almost $100 billion, you know, and his baby is like, I would say SpaceX, but it started out as Tesla. You know, and Tesla, you know, it's when they had the Roadster. It was like, you know, a very popular vehicle that was super fast, and they wanted to make this into a mass market vehicle. He's seen a vision to be able to do that. He created the Model S, which is a car that, you know, was starting to captivate people, 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds, you know, like autonomous driving, things like that. He was working on with it, I think AP1, AP2, you know, so, you know, he used the Model S to get, the margins right, like within the sale, to be able to invest into the company and pay off, a lot of the federal, um, you get like taxes. You know what I'm saying? So like if you buy like a Tesla or something like that, you get a chance to have, a rebate. You know what I mean? So you basically buy the car, and then like when tax time comes, you can end up claiming a certain amount to get back on your taxes. So without even all that, like he was able to make like profit off of the Model S, and he moved from the Model X. He had like the Model X, which was like a big SUV. People were buying that like crazy. He used all that money and the margins off of that, and he reinvested into the company, into Tesla. He was able to repay the loans back that he had, and he created the Model 3, which is like the mass production car which he was trying to get to. Now with Tesla, the stock went from, in the beginning, I think I was in it from $74 a share. I got out of it when it was like $200 some a share. Well, it shot back up to, I think like it was around like 2,100. Which if I would have kept my money in a Tesla, the amount of money, I think I had like $3,500. Like at that time, I'd used like a student loan, and I was just like using that money and like just short selling the stock and things like that, and that enabled me to be able to pay back the student loan and still like make money. But that's a risk, that's a gamble, because around that time, I didn't really have that much money and liquidity, or like liquid money, that I had, to get a grasp on. So I used like the student loan to be able to do that, which was risky, but it ended up working out. But Tesla got to the point to where the stock reached like over $2,000 a share, and they went ahead and they did a stock split. And people like, which is kind of like a non-event, but it makes the stock cheaper to where it's a little bit more desirable to the general public for them to want to be able to buy into the stock at, so they don't have to do fractional shares and things like that. It's just, a more reasonable look to the stock, at $400 something a share versus 2,100, you know what I'm saying, or $2,200 a share. So, they did the split. Elon Musk, they went ahead and they had what was called like Battery Day. And this is what everybody was excited about. And it's all leading up to a point. So Battery Day, Elon Musk pretty much re-engineered the lithium ion battery. And everybody knows like the most expensive part in a Tesla car is the battery. So that's why the car is like $37,000 for like the base model, $37,999 or whatever for the base model. And, people were wondering like, yo, like this is a mass production vehicle. A lot of people are buying it. People are stretching themselves to buy it. It's got autonomous driving, AP3, this, that, and the third, and we got the Model Y. We got all this stuff, which is like a crossover SUV that is outselling and outperforming like a lot of different vehicles. 0 to 60 times are ridiculous. Gets over 300 miles to the range, and, people are wondering like, okay, so how can we get these vehicles cheaper? And Elon Musk went ahead and on Battery Day, he re-engineered the battery, so with doing that, he's got like a battery that's smaller that holds 50% more capacity. Now, I don't know if people understand that, but this is a huge deal. When you think about what, like the technology that went into this is all about, like it went from like, I think like a nickel base or whatever, like in the battery, and it's like a cathode base, like battery. He just re-engineered like the whole entire battery to where now the cost of the battery is a lot cheaper because he doesn't have to use those expensive parts to make the battery, and the battery gets a lot longer like range. You know what I mean? So with that, he's enabled, the company to be in a position to produce a $25,000 electric vehicle. Now, this is a huge deal, right? Because you got the Model 3 is already outselling the 3 Series BMW. It's already outselling like the Audi. It's already outselling like a lot of its like competitors like within the class. So people are like, well, you got the Prius, you got like these cars that are still like not necessarily dominant, but there's still cars that people, will buy because, it's not as risky. You still have a gas powered car that's got electric, capabilities in it, and you can still get great gas mileage. You got some Priuses that may get like 60 something miles to the gallon or like even higher, so people are kind of looking at it like Toyota is still like a threat. Well, when they come out with the $25,000 Tesla that has autonomous driving, which that's what they've been working on and developing and rewriting, what do you think you're gonna buy? Are you gonna buy a Prius or are you gonna buy a Tesla? Like, let's be real. So my projections of the Tesla company is a 3-year outlook, right? You also have, and I'm gonna get into something else. So you also have, they're coming out with the Cybertruck, which is a vehicle that's gonna compete with like the F-150, which is a high price, overpriced vehicle that doesn't have much technology in it. I've got one. So with the F-150, like a STX model, which is like I wouldn't say standard work truck, but like a STX model that has the 4x4 drive, and just has like the suspension that'll enable you to be able to do a little bit of off-road, like very minimal, with not much technology inside of it at all. Actually, old technology inside of it is $45,000. The Tesla autonomous driving, bulletproof Cybertruck with a compressor on board, and adaptive like suspension, autonomous driving, never have to use gas again. It's $39,000 for this vehicle. And that Ford is the F-150 is the number one selling vehicle in America. Tesla is now having its Cybertrucks. They're going to be built in the Texas Gigafactory. So with that, it's going to be built closer to it's going to be built in the United States. It's not going to be from overseas and nothing like that. And people are going to be having access to it. And, I'm thinking that the Cybertruck, for the most part, it's already captivated the younger audiences. Because, people I got a F-150 because I needed a truck. You know what I mean? But if I had a choice between, like, a F-150 or a Cybertruck, I'm going to get a Cybertruck. You know what I mean? So you got to think about, like, older people, they're still stuck in their ways. They're going to probably end up getting the F-150. But the newer generations are people that need a truck, want a truck, but don't want to pay the higher gas prices of a truck, don't want to be paying for, like, oil changes or transmission flushes and keeping up the maintenance on the pickup truck, no longer have to worry about any of that. And they get a chance to have a Tesla, and they have autonomous driving with no gas. So it's projected that the Cybertruck may end up outselling the F-150 in a few years to come, and that truck comes out next year. But it's not just this. I'm looking at, and we can get to the stock in a minute. I'm looking at Tesla as not just an auto company, and I'm feeling like ARK Invest. It's like they're a money management company. They're not like a hedge fund. Like a hedge fund through the SEC, like the guidelines, they're able to hold on to money longer, whereas like ARK Invest, like an investment firm like that, they can't hold on to stocks as long as a hedge fund company, but they kind of maneuver similarly than a hedge fund company. It's like kind of the same thing, but they are investing into, I would say, disruptive innovation. And for the most part, they've been right, and this is why they're blowing up in ARK Invest. One of the biggest companies that they've invested in right now is Tesla, and they're projecting that this stock is going to be worth well over $1,000, like in a short period of time. We've had different analysts, billionaires, like just do like different like money shows, like talk about it. They think this is a $2 trillion company, not just because they're investing in the autonomous driving and this is like an electric like vehicle company. Tesla is not just that; it's a battery company. Like they're also creating power, for like homes. So you've got like the power wall, like, so you can sell electricity back to the grid, and to the electric company to get like cheaper rates, for your electricity. Not only are they doing that with power walls, they're becoming a utility company to where, they have, solar panels and things like that, to be able to supply you with, like electricity for your home and things like that. And so they're not just looked at as an automobile company, they're looked at as a utility company, and with that, it's kind of a big deal when you think about the growth that could potentially happen with this company that's continuing to happen. They have zero, advertising costs. Whereas, like, you got Hummer, like GM, they just came out with that Hummer. You know what I mean? And with the Hummer, they had to pay LeBron James, like millions and millions of dollars just for that. They have to market on all these different social media platforms. Like, Tesla doesn't have to do that. There's an entire community dedicated to just, like, marketing and talking about their vehicles, like, getting people educated on their vehicles. That's something that Tesla doesn't have to worry about. Like, if you look at the Tesla vehicle, it almost doesn't depreciate in value versus other vehicles. So you can look at the existing, vehicle fleet on the Tesla website, and like a car with like miles on it costs the same as a vehicle that's brand new. So you can go on Carvana, you can look for like a Tesla Model 3 that might have 25,000 miles on it or 30,000 miles on it. It's still going to be the same price as a brand new Tesla. Because Carvana's got to make a little bit of money off of it, and the car doesn't really depreciate that much. And this is one of the things that Kelly Blue Book was talking about. They don't know how to value this car because it's in such a high demand. Like, you got like 4 to 6 weeks before you can even get access to your car after they make it. You know what I mean? So I'm looking at Tesla as being so disruptive to the point to where everybody's eventually going to move towards the Tesla. We already see that the Ford is in danger of going out of business. They're not even focusing on the regular fleet of vehicles. They're primarily only focused on their F-150s. And I think like their Explorers, you know what I mean? But for the most part, they're focused on their F-150s because nobody wants their vehicles because they think that they're subpar. You know what I mean? And then the Silverados, those are like nowhere near the technology as, with, like Chevy, the Silverado's nowhere near close to even the technology of the Cybertruck. You know what I mean? So, and it's like priced at like $47,000 like for that vehicle that has 4-wheel drive and like all that, when you can get way more vehicle for like $37,000. So we're starting to see a shift in the automotive like department to where people are now looking at this thing like, yo, like I would rather have a Tesla than anything else. And you're seeing people stretch themselves to get the Tesla just because they don't want to have a car that's going to have like, problems and break and all these different issues. And now you got to go to Firestone or NTB or like all these different places to try to get your car fixed, your Conrads or whatever you have like in your location. And they charge you $500 and $600 and $1,000 to fix X, Y, and Z part. You don't have to have those worries anymore having a Tesla. They did away with the annual maintenance of the vehicle. So you don't even have to bring it in yearly to get it like looked at because there's nothing to do to it. The car is designed to move like 1 million miles. You know what I mean? Whereas like an actual gasoline powered vehicle, not only do you have to pay for gas, and have all those emissions issues and emissions testing and paying all this money, you have, it's just the upkeep is ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like you have people that just rip you off. And you don't have much technology in the car, and elderly people are kind of looking at the Tesla as like the way to go as well, because a lot of these people have like orthopedic problems, and they feel like, they're in situations where they can't react in time for different things. Well, Tesla may be like a pretty good deal for them to where it can get them to point A to point B and, kind of assist them with driving and make the roads safer to cut down on accidents, and when you look at a regular combustion engine versus like a Tesla, you looking at the high probability of a fire happening with a regular naturally aspirated like combustion vehicle versus like a Tesla. You see what I'm saying? So like I'm just not looking at this as like a car company. This is a utility company. They just re-engineered like the battery. The Cybertruck is made from, space like, technology material, like cold rolled steel. You know what I mean? Like it's a bulletproof vehicle. You know what I mean? So when you take into everything that's in account what you're going to get with Tesla, I don't think that you can compare it to other companies. And this is why I feel like this stock in the next 3 to 4 years is going to be the move for me. Like already I've made, I would say probably $10,000 in the past 2 months. Well, 2.5, 3 months, 2.5, 3 months. I made about $10,000 in the stock. And this is how I do it. Basically, on YouTube, I get paid a lot. You know what I mean? Like on my channel, let's just say I get like $9,100 like a month, like to do YouTube. I've got a regular job. You know what I mean? I went to school, got a career. I'm still going to school. I'm trying to be a lawyer, but I've got like a set career, got a degree in psychology, all that. So I've got a career. I'm making money on YouTube. What I do is when the stocks go down, this is when the Dow's down, the S&P 500 is down, or just the stocks in general, or just Tesla if it goes down, if there's a dip. I buy in the dips and I hold. You know what I mean? I don't buy in the dips and panic like, oh, well, it's dropping a little bit more. Well, if it drops a little bit more, buy back in. That's what I do. you know, and then eventually it's all going to go back up. You know what I mean? It's just the stock market, it's just the nature of it, you know, unless you're investing in like Fitbit or like Facebook, you know what I mean? Or like companies like that to where they do have like those type of issues. You know what I mean? Facebook, I think they stabled out a little bit more. But Tesla is kind of a situation of where do you want to bet against somebody that has $100 billion almost in just liquid? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they could pull it and make it liquid at any given time. Elon Musk, a guy that's got SpaceX, all these different companies, that he's using his technology from all of his different companies and incorporating them into Tesla. You know, we have futuristic vehicles because of this man. You know what I mean? And he's constantly out in the forefront trying to, I would say, like, revamp or redo or change the way we think about automobiles. So now it's not about the amount of money you got to travel, it's about how much time you got to travel. You can go from New York to California, California to Florida, you know, all these different places off of electric energy through superchargers if you have a Tesla. You know what I mean? So it's just something to think about. Whereas in gasoline powered cars, you got to pay for every little thing. We getting ripped off at the gas pumps. I'm tired. You know what I mean? I got tired. I had to get a Tesla. You know what I'm saying? I got tired of paying for gas. You know what I mean? So I feel like a lot of the governors are backing, you know, like Elon Musk. A lot of the, you know, companies are backing Elon Musk. You know what I mean? And I feel like even in the pandemic, when all these companies, for the most part, took massive hits and losses, Tesla was still like unable to keep up with demand for their vehicles. And they're on pace to sell close to 1 million vehicles this year. You know what I mean? With a young company like this that's profitable. You know, so my estimations, I'm kind of like, well, ARK Invest in this. I'm looking at it like in 3 years, you know, whatever investment I put in this is probably going to end up paying off, you know, because I've already seen it. You know, so, but if you have like a couple $100 you're trying to invest, maybe you want to do fractional shares and buy into some companies, you know what I mean? But if you got a little bit of money to invest, my opinion on it, you know what I mean, just from what I'm doing, whenever there's a dip, I buy. Whenever there's a dip, I buy. You know, and if you need to, you get into situations where you need to, you know, don't buy any stocks with your last dollar. You know what I mean? I tell y'all that. Don't ever do that. Don't buy stocks with your last dollar. Buy stocks, you know, with money that you could afford to lose. You know what I mean? I could afford to lose like 30 or 40,000. You know what I'm saying? Like in stocks. You know what I mean? If it came down to it, you know, and I could still manage and live, you know. But if you don't have money like that, be careful about what you do. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I feel like Tesla, if you do the research and you see how much the stock has moved within the past like 3 years, like, I think you know, like, what you need to be doing. You know what I mean? What kind of car do you want? Do you want like a Ford Fusion? Do you want an Expedition? Do you want a Tesla? Do you want a Prius? Do you want a Camry? And for the price of a Camry, you can get a $25,000 like Tesla in 3 years? What do you really want? You know what I mean? And I think the switch, and you see it happening now on the roads. You go to Denver, Colorado, like I went and just did like a cross-country trip not too long ago, I think like a few months back. And, you know, there was all Teslas. Californians, all Teslas. You know, people are catching on like quick. And even in Nashville, it's like Teslas everywhere. You know, so you got to think about Giga Berlin. You know, there's like a gigafactory that's being built there just to supply cars there because there's so much demand. You know, they re-engineered the car press, like the stamp machine. So now it's just one press instead of multiple different parts to make like one unibody unit. You know, that cuts down on a lot of, you know, like factory costs and things like that. And you got like China, like they have a gigafactory that they're building there that's supposed to be up to capacity very soon. So Tesla's branching out. They've got a contract with Nevada for mining of like batteries. You know what I mean? Like, so they don't have to get them from like Panasonic and just be, you know, tied down to whether or not Panasonic or whatever to supply them. You know, so my bet is with Elon Musk, you know what I'm saying? But y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. That's pretty much my rundown, you know what I mean? My bet, I'm just trying to run through this blog and tell y'all how I feel about investing in which company I'm dedicated to investing in. But y'all tell me what y'all think down in the comment section below. Comment, rate, subscribe, let me know what y'all think about that. Peace.